podcast show for business owners and managers who are passionate about developing people and growing a successful business. And now here's your host, Alistair Booth from the HR Booth.
To our latest podcast. Delighted to be joined today by leanna.Sinclair from Career Ready. So welcome, Leanna.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me today.
No bother at all. Thanks for taking the time out your busy schedule. I know you're a very busy person and everyone at Career Ready is extremely busy, but we thought it was just great to get you on the show today and kind of share a little bit more about Career Ready, what that's all about and how we can get that message out to employers and certainly the clients that we work with. So thanks again for coming on.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. And I know we'll get the chance to hear more about your personal experience with Career Ready as well, which is brilliant.
Absolutely. Yeah.
First, just a wee bit about my role, what I do at Career Ready. So I'm responsible for growing and developing our partnerships with our vital Career Ready employer partner organisations across Scotland and other parts of the UK.
Okay.
I've been with Career Ready now for just over 2.5 years. And previously I was involved with Career Ready as a volunteer mentor in a previous HR business partner role that was in a private sector organisation. Actually, I've got just over 20 years experience in HR and operational management roles prior to having joined Career Ready.
I didn't realise that, so that's good to know. Brilliant. Good.
Yeah, so we're kindred spirits.
Absolutely, good.
Uh-huh.
So how have you found things at Career Ready then since moving obviously from the kind of private sector and an HR role and moving into Career Ready? What's that transition been like?
Great. I have really enjoyed it. I've liked seeing the other side, from within Career Ready because during my time volunteering, I not only volunteered as a mentor, but I was also part of coordinating the programme partnership with the organisation I was with. And so I knew a lot about it and I knew how well it worked before I joined. So I had all of that benefit before joining the charity. I had that insight and that confidence in what I knew we do for young people.
Brilliant, good stuff. So I'm conscious that probably a lot of our audience, Leanna, might not know a lot about kind of Career Ready, and obviously I'm pretty fortunate that I do, having been involved in the programme as an employer and a mentor, but obviously that's just very recent, so I actually didn't know an awful lot about it until probably the last maybe a couple of years or so. So I'm aware of obviously other kind of charities and other organisations that work with young people, so I think that's well kind of publicised, but great opportunity today for you just to kind of showcase a little bit more about you and Career Ready. So do you want to kind of just give our audience a flavour around who Career Ready are and what you do?
Absolutely, thank you. So Career Ready is a social mobility charity, and essentially we exist to change young lives. That's what we're here to do. And in fact, an incredible 99% of Career Ready beneficiaries, Career Ready young people, go on to positive post-school destinations into work or into further or higher education. And our Career Ready alumni end up with a support network which is impressively twice the size of their non-programme peers, which I guess is social mobility in a nutshell, to be honest, because it is about, whether we like it or not, it is often about who you know as well as what you know. So we enable and support that. And what we find is that by partnering on the Career Ready programme, the hundreds of employers that we work with and their people see significant benefits too, which is fantastic. And really what we are about is shifting that dial on social mobility, and we do that by focusing on young people who don't have the advantages of others, perhaps due to their social or economic background. And we work at improving their social mobility through our programme, and it involves monthly mentoring combined with a 4-week paid internship. And it's also worth noting that our offering in our programme is unique in Scotland for the age group that we focus on. And the specific age group, just to be clear on that, is age sort of 15 to 16 up to that 17 to 18, which is essentially their final 2 academic years. And in terms of sort of the mechanics behind it, how we do what we do, Career Ready works with local authorities and their schools, and in England we work with sixth form colleges as well, who identify the young people who will most benefit from our programme. And that's based on, as I've mentioned, their social and economic circumstances, which their teachers within the school, the school coordinators that we work with will know of.
Right, okay.
And then what happens is, as you'll have experienced, we then match young people to our employer partners, who then open their doors to career-ready students, as you have at the HR booth, and they provide mentor volunteers who the young person then meets for an hour to 1.5 hours per month at your workplace. And then along with providing them with that all-important 4-week paid summer internship, which is really important.
Brilliant. Yeah,
that's what we do.
That's been our experience. So fantastic.
Great.
Thanks for sharing that, Leanna. And I guess at what point during school are the kind of schools looking to identify the students? Is that kind of towards the end of S4? Because our experience, like you've touched on there, tended to be like the mentoring aspect during S5, the internship during the summer holiday between S5 and S6, and then carrying on that mentorship during S6. So are the young people identified during like S4, or how does that all kind of happen?
Well, the school coordinators, the schools and the wider local authority know obviously our work with us closely, and so they probably will have their eye on who might be a great fit for the Career Ready programme, and be considering that ahead of the pupils being put forward for the programme come the start of S5.
Brilliant.
But it's at the start of S5 that the schools nominate the young people who are going to take part, and they're then matched with mentors from employers.
Brilliant. And what some of the challenges that you find in, Leanna? Is it getting employer kind of input? Like, because I obviously recall the day that we had to kind of meet the young people at the Fife College in Dunfermline at Carnegie Conference Centre, and it was a massive event. And I think the schools, loads of schools in Fife. I think every school was represented from memory. Some had more young people than others. There was lots of employers, but it just kind of, what kind of resonated with me a little bit that day was, is there any young people who've maybe not been included because they just don't have the employers to support the programme? So is that a kind of challenge, or is there other challenges that I'm maybe just not aware of that's kind of coming through?
We're always looking for more employers to support. That's the truth. I mean, there are some areas where we might be looking for more than others because there's just not the same dense population of organisations. That is the case. However, the answer is we are always looking for more employers. There are students often on the reserve list. When schools nominate pupils to go forward for the programme. So quite simply, yes, we are always looking for more employers.
And what's your approach to trying to get employers to engage with the programme then? Is there anything that I can do, or we can signpost our audience? What can we do to get employers involved in the programme?
Spread the word, and please, I believe that there'll be further information in the show notes from this podcast, for example, which will provide a link to further information, my contact details. My ask is either get in touch if you yourself and your organisation want to get involved, and spread the word with others who you think will be interested in getting involved, because it really is, I can say this from experience, having been a mentor myself, I just didn't expect it to have the impact on me personally, and on sort of the wider, because I got other people involved as well in the organisation I was in, and then they loved it too, and so there's just so many other benefits, and there's so much more energy that comes to it than you ever expect. You'll know.
Absolutely. I can talk about our recent experience on that as well, so I can completely echo what you're saying there. Good.
So please get in touch.
Good, and we'll make sure that is kind of published on the show notes as well, and we'll spread the word as far as we can. So I suppose as well, just looking at it from an employer perspective, because we work with lots of businesses across Scotland and the UK, and one of the kind of common themes that comes up quite often from an HR perspective is we can't find talent, or we can't fill our jobs, and sometimes they have this misconception about young people not being able to do the jobs, and they complain and things like that. And we're saying employers will take a proactive approach. Look at apprenticeships. There's graduate apprenticeships, there's modern apprenticeships, there's also the foundation apprenticeships. We do a lot of work with schools in terms of kind of as a team going into some of the local schools to help with CV writing, interview skills, and preparing them for the world of work. And I always kind of go in and I say to some of our clients, sometimes, you know, if I was a bigger employer and had a lot more jobs to offer, I would probably be looking at that as a little bit like a football analogy, like using that as your scouting system to actually look at what young talent can you bring into the business. And it blows my mind that more employers don't do that, and especially the bigger employers that have got so many apprenticeships to offer. So that would be our advice to clients, is take a more proactive approach. The talent is on your doorstep. They just need nurtured, identified, and mentored. And you know, you've got that talent. So there's no point in moaning and complaining about you can't fill your jobs and complaining about young people or whatever. You know, go out and just be proactive and see what's out there. And I've seen some real success stories with some of the schools that I've been out to. You know, sometimes you go into a classroom and some of the kids maybe are being a little bit boisterous because they're playing up for the audience. But what I've kind of liked about going into some of the schools is that the teachers will identify one person each week to go and maybe meet me at reception, and then they take you to the room. And what I've kind of found with that is you get a bit of one-to-one kind of contact. And I remember in Inverkeithing School, at Inverkeithing High School, there was a young lad who always felt was trying to be the class clown. But see, when I met him on a one-to-one that day, he was asking me loads of questions, and I thought he's actually pretty engaged with what we're trying to do. So that made it worthwhile for me, actually thinking, yeah, he gets it, and he's asking the right questions, but perhaps didn't feel comfortable in the classroom setting, and it's probably just sometimes up front that he's putting on for his pals. So that does make it really rewarding to think, yeah, you've managed to kind of turn one person around and hopefully help them on the right path to finding employment or other opportunities.
And I think the point you get to there is you get what you put in.
Aye, yeah,
so
good point.
And that's really what this program is all about. Excuse me, I've got a frog in my throat. You do get what you put in.
Yeah.
And what that means is at the start, you know, the career ready young person that you're matched with, might they be very shy?
Yeah.
Yes, they might. And might that be a little bit awkward at the start?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I just think life's beautifully awkward anyway.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you just have to sort of just anticipate that and be okay with it, and be be okay to hold that space and listen and ask questions, and be okay with the fact that probably at the start you'll be participating more. You might also get, you know, some young people who come across as uber confident and it's a front, such as the young lad you were talking about there, you know. So they'll, like with any employees, it doesn't matter what age they're at, you're going to get different young people that you'll be mentoring and supporting through the programme. And I think the point is to just go in with an open mind. We provide lots of guidance and material. There's a dedicated regional manager for each, career ready regional manager for each of the areas that we support. You'll have worked with your regional manager, Claire Nicol, who's fantastic. And also there's a dedicated school coordinator within schools, should there be anything that either the mentor or we at Career Ready want to get their support with to help sort of just if there's anything that they might be able to advise to support that young person further. But I think it's important to say that in the first instance, employers get involved with us because, as you've rightly said, you know, they want the opportunity to have that direct and lasting impact on the lives of young people in their local areas, and they just love that sort of tangible personal and professional growth that they see in young people. And also through them for themselves as mentors through participation in the programme, you know, and seeing sort of just that wee change. It's the little things that are the big things. The example again that you've given with the young person at Inverkeithing High School, put those wee conversations, that wee investment of time is significant. But as well as supporting young people in that way, our employer partners also see many other further benefits that come with the Career Ready partnership. So it provides brilliant development and engagement. I find that myself as a mentor provides excellent development and engagement for the employees who volunteer to take part. It supports employers' corporate and social responsibility goals, and it also gives them a chance to your point, raise awareness of your organisation. Young people might not know you exist yet.
Exactly.
In the local area and with schools. And so, you know, that if people don't know you exist, they'll not chap on your door. But the point, while we don't profess to ever be a pipeline, a pipeline for employers, once they know of you, they've then got a choice to make, you know, that they didn't have before. You know, they know of you now, and they know that you're a supportive, friendly, organisation that is open to supporting and employing young people. Brilliant. So
Good.
So, yeah.
Good summary there. Yeah, I like that. I like that. And probably just another kind of question then, Leanna, is probably just talk me through like the matching kind of program. What
course.
does that kind of look like in terms of matching the students, the young people with the employer?
Sure. So when mentors sign up to mentor,
Yeah.
they will provide a mentor profile. So we ask them to complete a profile. So we find out more about them, their hobbies, interests, their role in, etc., further information about themselves. And we also gather information about the student, about the career-ready young person. And then what we do is mentor by mentor, student by student, each regional manager goes through a very detailed matching process, obviously based on location, because it has the logistics have to work, the student, and it has to be able to travel to the workplace because they're attending the monthly meetings and the internship at your workplace. So it has to work location wise. But then we look at, are there any specific interests that they've expressed that align themselves to your organisation? Now, there might be, they might say that they're interested in HR, they might say they're interested in finance, they might, they might express a specific interest, but they might not.
Yeah.
And we, being a social mobility charity, supporting social mobility, we're okay with that.
Yeah.
Because we embrace that, because one, how you don't know what you don't know at this age and stage. And also the whole point is we're facilitating these experiences because you might not know about them.
Yeah.
So we can't expect you to necessarily, we can't expect the young people to necessarily have the knowledge to know what they want to do.
Exactly.
It's a bit chicken and egg. So where there's not a specific interest sort of professionally expressed in terms of their career, we'll match based on both the student and the mentor's personal interests.
Right.
Because what is, as you'll appreciate, what is very, very pivotal is that relationship between the student and the mentor flourishes and goes well. Because the rest and sort of the confidence and the communication skills and the transferable skills that emerge from there all emerge from the mentor and student relationship.
Okay, good. Now, good. Some of that's good to kind of know how it all works. Great.
Of course.
Good. And we kind of went through that. And interestingly, Abby, who was our work placement student, I think didn't really know much about HR and probably wasn't the kind of career that she would have kind of chose. And I think her aspirations are something different. But in terms of the kind of matching and doing the mentoring, that all worked, really well. And she came in and did her kind of work placement, so which was great. So it's good to know how that all works behind the scenes. Because I think we were both like quite early, like, well, how have we been matched then? If you don't want to go down HR, don't know what to do. She's like, I don't know. And so we were kind of just chatting about that. We had a bit of a laugh, but got on really well. So
there's so many transferable skills in HR.
Exactly.
As you know, there's just so many. No matter where she could end up coming back to HR. That's what happened to me.
Exactly. I know.
I went something different, and that's I bounced into HR, not expecting to do that. But the point is, there's so many skills and confidence, importantly, that she'll be gaining regardless to take into her next steps.
Good. So we've just gone through the programme. So I probably met Abby maybe about a year or so ago. We've been doing the kind of one-to-one kind of mentoring, and then we had the 4-week placement over the summer there. And what we were doing kind of just prior to the kind of placement starting, we were doing the catch-ups in the office. Previous to that, we were kind of going in the school, because logistically it was easier to kind of do that in terms of where the school was based. Where our office was quite a challenge in terms of bus routes, so it was just easier to do it in the school.
You can do a mix of both.
Exactly, and that's
well
what
as you did.
And as I was conscious with the placement coming up, I thought, well, you need to kind of see the workplace, and also just to try and kind of meet some of the team. And I think with hindsight, if we do this again next year, probably do more of the mentoring in the office, just so the individual can meet more of the team. Because essentially what happened is, when the placement started, I think I was just coming back from annual leave, so I wasn't actually there on Abby's first day, and then a lot of the day-to-day contact was with other members of the team. So whilst I did see her most days, she wasn't kind of working directly for me, and she built that relationship with the wider team, which was great to see, actually, in terms of confidence building and growing, and getting to know people across the team. But with hindsight, I think maybe meeting more of the people a little bit more frequently during the mentoring period would be something that we would probably do the next time. But overall, it was a positive experience. We enjoyed the last day where Abby had to do our presentation. She brought us I really well. She brought us in some
Yeah.
cupcakes beforehand, so no, she was trying to bribe us on just
Probably,
joking. She
yeah.
was, that was just a wee thank you, which was a nice touch actually. On our last day, she brought us in like a tray of cakes and stuff, and then did the presentation. But it was really good. In terms of how she'd used PowerPoint, all the animations that she did on it were really good as well, I have to say. And I thought that was quite impressive because I'm probably not the greatest with PowerPoint, and it's pretty much I'll put a couple of pictures and a couple of bullet points and that is it. But she was doing all the kind of animations. I thought that's quite impressive, and then just kind of telling us what she kind of learned on her journey. So it was good to kind of see that. And I think what she kind of felt is that she probably doesn't feel suited like an office job because she wants to be on the go, but she's interested in criminology. So and I thought, wonder if that's where the interest in HR come about in terms of like investigations.
Yeah.
So we were kind of saying, well, because a lot of the stuff she was doing was admin kind of related in terms of updating her systems, getting shown Excel and you know, doing some kind of basic administration. But we did take her through some HR kind of cases as well, just to say in terms of the investigation process, this is what it kind of looks like. And I think she was quite interested in that. So like you say, that's transferable. So I think if she does go down the route of kind of criminology, hopefully that might kind of stand her in good stead.
Absolutely. Because
so it was
with
good,
any
good to see
role,
that.
she'll not just be out. There will be some element,
Yeah.
no doubt, of write-up, of communication, presentation.
Yeah.
So there probably will be, you know, there's always
Yeah,
parts of a job, isn't there, that you just think, oh, I don't
exactly.
like that part.
Yeah.
So there probably will still be that
Yeah.
side of things. So having the
Yeah.
experience in it will be invaluable.
Exactly. Aye, definitely. And what was good from a business point of view was actually seeing some of our team being a bit more involved. So
Great.
Chloe, who hasn't got any kind of people management experience, she was involved in kind of developing Abby's induction plan, and doing a little bit kind of on the job kind of mentoring, just overseeing that. But the whole team were involved in that. So our admin support team, everybody was kind of involved in that across the team. So I think during the course of our 4 weeks, she was involved in some respect with everybody in the team, and kind of got to know them. But different people in the team, you know, were kind of being proactive and, you know, taking the lead on that. So it was almost like a mini project for them, which was good. So I think that helps with their personal development and growth as well. So that was good to see. And as I say, I think when we do this again next year, which I'm 100% sure we will be doing, we'll just it's the first time we've done it, so we've kind of learned some lessons on how we might do that differently for next year, and we'll share that with Claire Meikle as well, just to get some feedback on that. But overall, a really good experience, and I'm glad that we did it, and we'll definitely be doing it again.
That's fantastic. I love the fact, though, that you're saying, it's their first year. There's always there's something new, obviously.
Yeah.
So,
Aye.
but it's great because you can just keep building on it year on year on
exactly.
year.
Yeah.
And how did you find the whole, onboarding as a mentor? The whole process of you mentioned the launch event and the mentor training. Yeah. How did you find all of that?
Absolutely spot on. There was a lot of communication in advance in terms of the paperwork around the PVG, the kind of matching kind of process. The communication from Claire and the team was really good. Probably there was an information kind of session we had to kind of attend on Teams as well, which was good. And I probably didn't appreciate actually the kind of magnitude and the scale of the Career Ready program, because we went into the employer event. I was like, wow, this is quite busy. There was a lot.
Oh, you were
surprised.
surprised.
The Centre. I was surprised, actually, pleasantly surprised. I thought, oh, I didn't expect this. So I kind of didn't really know what to expect on the day. And it was good. Saw a few for other clients were there as well, so it was good to kind of see them involved, and a lot of other kind of local businesses. But just being at that table with the other groups, and then not knowing who you were kind of matched with, like the students all knew in advance, which was interesting, and they'd kind of done their homework on us, which was good. So kind of knowing that now, I think we'll be in a good position for next year. But in terms of that onboarding process, pretty seamless. You can tell that Claire and the team and you guys are experts in this and have done it so many times. So it was pretty seamless, I have to say.
That's really, really kind of you to say. There's a couple of things there. First of all, thanks for acknowledging that there is a lot of effort that goes into making it all happen. And in terms of, you're not the only one to say, I'm really surprised at the scale, the number of people that were there. It's a great opportunity to network with others and other organisations, get to know other people as well who are taking part, other mentors in organisations. But across Scotland, we're looking to onboard a further 1,000 young people this year. So obviously you'll be one of those, which is lovely. And then we're looking to double that across the UK. So so we, you know, we're growing. We want to keep growing essentially, and because of all the benefits it brings. But also the point you made, thank you for your feedback, that you know that went well in terms of your onboarding experience and so on, and the launch event, because we do want to we will continue to be a sort of ready-made, fully evaluated programme. And while it does require effort, rightly so, from you know, employers that take part, everything you need is ultimately provided for the organisation, such as the training that you spoke about, you know, the support materials, the networking opportunities, and any support as and when you need it throughout the duration of the programme. And their employer partners love that, because it means that they can basically focus on creating that experience for the young person and enjoying the mentoring and the internship process. So that's part of what we offer. It's part of the partnership.
Good. And have you got any kind of stats, Leanna, on like the size organisations that do get involved? Does it tend to be a lot of bigger organisations, or
it varies
hugely?
We partner with hundreds of organisations, anything from, you know, small organisations, sort of 5 to 10 people, up to thousands. It's vast. It greatly varies across industry, across size, really, and types of roles of the mentors that get involved. There's no specification around the type of role that a mentor has to have.
Good. Because one of the things that we could potentially look at, and I suppose the kind of challenge for us is that we're a small business and a small team, and over that kind of 4-week placement period is kind of holiday season as well for us. So for us to we probably couldn't accommodate more than one placement at any one time, but we as an organisation could be open to actually having like another placement, but at a different kind of time. So I'm not sure if there's opportunities for Career Ready to perhaps look at that in the future, but we would be open to that as a business, because you know I definitely see the value and the benefits it brings, but we wouldn't be able to do it justice having 2 people at the same time.
At the same time,
just in terms of giving them that proper experience and the mentoring. Just with, you know, we've still got our business to function, team members on holiday, and then kind of supporting a younger person, but we'd be open to kind of doing 2 a year if we could, if you know, if there's some flexibility on dates. So that's probably just a little bit of feedback from us as a small employer, but I'm not sure like if you get that from anyone else, but that's certainly something we'd be open to. And the advantage of that for us as well is that we could have other members of the team actually doing the mentoring as well, because there's benefits from them, you know, being that person, kind of developing their skills as well, rather than perhaps just being me. So that means that we could potentially accommodate more than one person per year. So that's just something I wanted to perhaps
really
raise.
Appreciate that. We do design the timescales of the programme for a good reason. So the end of the 4-week, the start of the 4-week summer internship, the paid summer internship, importantly, because the student must always be paid, and we don't support unpaid internships. It crosses over, the first week crosses over with the last week of school. So while there is some flexibility, we don't, and also it's during the summer holidays. So that 4 weeks, they've also got to fit that in with the school curriculum and with getting some summer break.
I know.
So we do, that's why it's specifically timed at that time. I understand that could pose some challenges occasionally, but we do, as I say, it is there for good reason. It works well for students, and what we aim to do is, because we plan well in advance, so you know, we're having, you know, we had conversations with you well in advance about what the timescales were and so on, so that our employer partners have got plenty of time to look ahead and say, right, how can we make this work?
No, definitely, I see that, because I was a bit envious when I saw some of the other bigger employers posting, you know, and had multiple people doing the presentation. I thought that would be great to be able to do something like that. So small steps, but one day, exactly, one day,
and then at some point when you've got sort of perhaps the capacity to do that,
that would be great. Good. And just the last couple of points from me, Leanna, then, is touched on this a little bit, but you mentioned like the future plans for Career Ready in terms of numbers, but is there anything else, and what else can businesses like, say, us kind of do to support that?
Yeah, absolutely. What can you do to support it? Well, I've already mentioned that our future plans are they're pretty simple and important. So we want to continue to grow and affect the lives of more young people, and we need more organisations like the HR booth and others that will be listening to this podcast across the UK to take part in the Career Ready programme, and support our growth. That 1,000 in Scotland, you know, plus you know, further up to 1,000 across other parts of the UK. What I would say is look out for our Empower 1,000 Futures campaign, which will be which you can find on LinkedIn.
Right.
So if you look up, it's specifically hashtag 1,000 Futures. So you can put that in the search function within LinkedIn, and that'd be great. And there'll also be a link in the show notes that takes you straight into our website and how you can contact us to get involved. And as well as my email address, you can contact me directly. But basically, there's young people out there right now that will benefit from your support and from your organisation support. So please just get in touch for a conversation with me.
Fantastic.
Love to hear from you.
Yeah, great. We'll make sure that is kind of shared in the show notes and on social media. And just final point then is just on like the importance for a young person to have a mentor. So that we kind of touched on this during the discussion today, but you know, is there anything that kind of stands out in terms of the overall benefits for a young person having that kind of mentor?
Absolutely. I mean, you've touched on some of them yourself. Well, can I ask what have you seen before I sort of cover that in a bit more detail? What have you seen? How have you seen Abby grow and develop as a result of the mentor meetings?
So I think kind of confidence is kind of growing, asking a lot more kind of questions as well. To be fair, she's got like a good head on her shoulders, and you know, quite switched on in what she's wanting to do. So quite often it's just been kind of maybe bouncing ideas off me and what she's maybe thinking about our future kind of studies, discussions around maybe staying on to 6 year or going away and doing something else. What does that kind of look like? But what I've kind of seen is just a kind of confidence kind of growing, to be honest, was the big thing. And then what was nice in the work setting was that she was kind of quite quiet to start with, but then came out her shell a little bit, and you could see that interacting with other team members. And that was then kind of reinforced with the presentation on our last day. So definitely just confidence building, I think, has been great, and hopefully giving her a good indication in terms of what employers are looking for in the workplace.
Yeah, the end of internship presentation is quite a pivotal moment, isn't it? Where the young person presents to you and others in the organisation as to what they've achieved today and what the experience has been like for them, and it's really significant. And as you've said, it really in terms of the mentor relationship, I mean, I'd say a mentoring relationship is vital for all young people. It's quite a transition to make between school and the workplace or further education, but even more so for career-ready young people who may have backgrounds that don't lend themselves to being able to access these types of experiences, networks and things. But as you said, it's primarily about building their confidence and their knowledge and their skills. And in effect, it's demonstrating what does an adult-to-adult professional relationship look like in the workplace with someone on the inside in an organisation that can tell you how it really works. Because otherwise they'd just be starting and they might not have the benefit of that sort of friendly ear, you know. And we specifically designed the mentoring meetings, the programme, to set an excellent foundation, should I say, for the 8 months prior to the important 4-week internship. So having those experiences coming into your workplace, as you've said, you know, meeting other people that work with you, having that contact with them and knowing more before they join helps them feel more welcome. You know, there's that bit about psychological safety as well as in the workplace, isn't there? You know, they just feel sort of just there's less barriers walking through the door for the first time. And I think it's important to say, let's not underestimate the significance of the experience for mentors, for you as a mentor as well, because it has, because, you know, speaking, as you know, as someone who was a mentor myself, it really was just such a fantastic experience.
Quite rewarding, isn't it?
Very.
Giving something back.
Very, and allowed me to connect, as you said as much as well, it just allowed me to connect with others that I worked with. There were people that joined the student I had to make presentation that I'd never worked with before. I'd put out a call to say, doing this presentation, who would love to come along and hear? And I checked with her that she was okay with this first. and loads of people that I didn't really know, and I got to know them as a result, you know,
brilliant.
and they got involved. So yeah.
Great, fantastic, good stuff. Well, that's all my questions. So I really appreciate your time today. It's been very valuable. I've learned a little bit more about the Career Ready programme as well, which has been great. We will definitely make a point of kind of sharing this far and wide so that more people can hear and see what the Career Ready programme is all about. So we'll put like your contact details and that of Career Ready in the show notes as well, Leanna, and we'll get that kind of shared with our wider audience. But thanks again for taking the time out your busy schedule and joining us today.
Thank you very much. I've really enjoyed speaking to you, and I hope to meet you again soon when I'm next over in the kingdom.
Exactly, definitely. We'll make a point of that and hopefully see a future Career Ready programme event.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thanks, Leanna. Thank you. Thanks.